using packing tape transfers in my little field notes journal here. I am almost finished with it, and this has by far become one of my most favorite journals that I have worked in. I was really needing to try something different, and so the style that I've been doing in this one is completely different than my normal collage style. It's very simplistic and minimal, and I have just really loved working in this. And for some reason, gosh, just on the second page, I was trying to think of something to do, and I kind of had an idea, and I remembered about packing tape transfer, and it's been around forever, and I used to do it all the time, and then I totally forgot about it, and it's just really fun, and you can get really neat looks with it. And so since I'm almost done with this journal, after I'm completely finished, I am planning on doing a flip where I go through each page and just kind of talk about what I did or where the inspiration came from and things like that. And I know that there are people out there who haven't done packing tape transfers or don't know how to or are just curious about it, so I thought I would go ahead and share with you just a video of me doing one, because I have an idea for one of my pages here. I actually only have 3 pages left, and I'm finished with this. So I will just show you how I do this. Now, what the transfers that I've done in this journal have all been, well, no, they haven't all been. The first one that I transferred the image. It was from just a regular copy machine, just my ink. No, it wasn't from the inkjet printer. We have 2 printers. I have an inkjet, and then we have just a laser. This one was from our laser printer. So we have an ancient laser printer that we've probably had at least 15 years, and it's still chugging like a charm. And at the time, my laptop wasn't talking to my HP, and so I just printed it off on the laser printer. The first time that I did this, it had been so long since I'd done a transfer, I forgot to burnish the image on here. So this first one is really light, and actually it was perfect because it ended up just coming out to be a really neat spread, because I have here, where did I go? Which is just personally where have I gone? Well, I've lost myself, and I need to find myself. So I thought that was kind of neat because this one's so faded. So I tried it again and burnished it really well. And so this is the second transfer on laser paper and with just regular copy paper. So that is with laser paper. But then after that, I thought it would be fun to see if it would work with my Canon Selphy. And the images are completely different. This one is actually on paper, and I did not, once again, I think I was doing this one pretty late, and I didn't get this part of my face rubbed really well. But once again, I think it ended up working out really well with what I was wanting to portray. And I actually took a piece of the paper from the transfer. This one was printed off on my HP inkjet. So this is actually the paper that I had printed the image out on, and I just kind of stuck it on the front on top of the packing tape. So you can see where the tape is. And then I took the rest of that image. So this is the paper that was left over from the transfer, and I used it for this second spread. Then back here, this one right here, it's hard to tell because it's so bright. This is a packing tape transfer, and I did this one with my Canon Selphy. And you can see the tape. I'm trying to hold it so the glare, there you go. So there's the actual piece of tape. The picture is just a little square one, and I left extra tape across the top so I could use it. Is actually helping to hold down these pieces of vellum that I had woven together. But I love how it's working with the Canon, because the images are still nice and bright, but you can still see through them. It's hard to tell on the camera, but I can still just barely see the grid from my little field notes here. I can see that through that image. And then, let's see, back here, this one is also a packing tape transfer. This one was also with my Selphy. Let me see. I think it was. Yep, this one was with my Selphy. And for sure, you can definitely see here where the image is super nice and clear and bright, but you can still see through it. You can see the grid from this notebook. And this one is actually 2 pieces of tape that I had to put across the photo because I used a larger image. But there's the tape, and I've got it going across pretty much all the way to the other side of this page. So I thought for this one that I'm going to do back here, I would show you how I'm doing it. And I have to tell you first, I have not tried this with any other photo printer, any home photo printer, any photos that you have printed off anywhere professionally. I haven't played around with that to see how it works. All I can show you right now is how it looks if you use a Selphy. And I'm sorry, I can't, I don't know. So this is all that I've tried it on. Maybe later I'll get some old photos and try it on just some regular printed photos from, that you get from the store and see how those work. But this is my Selphy. I got it on Amazon a couple years ago. I really like it. I don't use it as much as I should because sometimes I just kind of forget about it. I like printing off these collage images so you can get several several photos on one sheet of paper. I like doing that the most because I feel like I'm getting the most money out of my paper, because the paper is kind of expensive. I do buy it in bulk. Like here's some that I've printed off. You can get 6 on one sheet. So you just get these nice little squares. I don't think I have any that I haven't cut. And this envelope are just ones that I have printed off here and there. I kind of try to keep a stash of some just so that I have some if I'm wanting to put a real photo on any of my work. But I have been using the Pic Collage app. I don't know if that's going to come out very well. And they have a free version. I went ahead and just bought the full version just because, I don't have to deal with if you don't buy the full version, at the very bottom of all of your prints that you use that app with, it'll say Pic Collage down here really small. So I got kind of tired of trying to cut that off, and I just went ahead and paid, I think it was $3 for the full app. The only thing that I have noticed is that it's still, I keep forgetting that where the cut marks are on the Selphy paper, a lot of times the image gets printed past it. So it is cutting off part of my image. So in this case, it's not that big of a deal, but I forgot on this one and kind of cut off my glasses there. So I don't really care because I don't like to put a lot of stress into my pages or stress out trying to do things. When I'm working on them, I'm just trying to focus more on, you know, on what I'm trying to say. So this doesn't bother me, but it is something to consider if you are printing your pictures off with this Pic Collage app and on the Selphy. So for this page, I'm going to use this image of the poppies, and I don't remember where I found this. I found it online somewhere, and it's actually a background for your phone. So I used to have it on my phone as a background, and I just really loved it. And for what the page that I'm going to do, I thought that it would be really pretty. I picked up a book. Well, my mom was getting rid of a bunch of books, and I couldn't help but go through the stack. And so I was able to find a mystery fiction book that she had, and I went ahead and grabbed it, and I've been finding some really great words and phrases from it to use. And I had found this one where the words just kind of were all together like this. So this is the quote that I'm going to use for this page. And the idea that I'm hoping will work, since these print off so clear, I'm hoping that I can do the transfer with the photo and then actually place this behind the tape and see it through the clouded area or somewhere. If it doesn't work, then I'll just stick it on the top, but I thought that would just be something kind of neat to try. So I'm going to cut this out really quick. And I have done images before that went over the edges of the tape, and I either just tear off that extra part, or if I want the whole image, like I did in this page back here, I did use 2 pieces of tape. You can see where they're at right there. They do make 2-inch wide packing tape. I have seen it. I used to have some, and believe it or not, I let my husband borrow it once, and I haven't seen it since. So that's alright, but I need to go find some more. And I was just at the local hardware store, you know, just places like that. So I've got my picture here, and then I just have some regular old packing tape. Doesn't matter what brand you use, just clear packing tape. I don't think you can use Scotch tape. I wouldn't try using Scotch tape. Well, first of all, it's super thin. You know, actually, I might try it sometime just to see if it works or the effect that it gets, especially the kind that's kind of cloudy. That might be kind of cool. But for this technique, I'm just going to use regular old packing tape. And I've got my good old scraper here. I'm pretty sure this is like a Pampered Chef, you know, for the ceramic, their ceramic cookware scraper. You can find these at the kitchen stores. I use this instead of a bone folder because I like the way it fits in my hand, and it's just easy, and it, you know, it's plastic, and so it makes your creases really good when you're making folds, but it also works great as a burnisher for these transfers. So what I'm going to do is just get a piece of tape, and I've been doing these a bit bigger, quite a bit bigger than my page, because I've kind of liked the look of having the extra tape going across the pages. It's hard to see unless you're holding it and you know it's there, but I really like the look of having that across the page. So I'm just going to turn this upside down, and I know this is hard to see, but I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm just going to place my image in the middle, and it's just about the exact size as the packing tape. And I didn't get it on there very straight. And you know what? I'm not going to try to, well, let me see if I can take it off. No, I'm just going to leave it. That's okay. And there's some bubbles on there. And since I don't like, it doesn't bother me that it's not going to be exactly perfect, I'm okay with that. If you don't want any bubbles, if you don't want any wrinkles, things like that, then you might do better if you had the image on the table and you laid the packing tape across, then you could make sure that everything's nice and smooth. But I kind of like the imperfections on this. That's probably why on the one with my face I didn't get it on. I didn't do it very good because I ended up with a bubble in the wrong spot. But that's okay. So I am just taking this plastic scraper and I'm just burnishing it across the top. I'm just kind of pressing down. You don't want to press super hard because you can kind of tear the tape. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over and just go across the other side. And then all that you need to do is place this in some water. So I've just got a dish here with some water. I'm just going to place it in here. And I thought it might be kind of neat to do one on a regular image from a magazine. This is actually from a calendar. It's fairly similar. It has some light background. I thought we would just do it on paper so we can see how different, or if there's much difference between paper and with the Canon. So I'm going to go ahead, take off some more tape. I think this time I'll do it this way. And this is not going to cover across the whole thing, so I think I like this lighter side better. Well, no, because that leaves. I'm going to put it on this side. And then I'm just going to overlap the tape so that I can get most of the rows. And as you can see, it goes on a lot easier if you put the tape on top of the image. I don't have any bubbles on this one at all like I did the other one. I'm just going to burnish it carefully. And do the other side. You have to be a bit more careful when you're rubbing magazine images or just the thinner paper because it's not as tough. You could also just use a nice soft cloth and just make sure, just want to make sure that it's nice and stuck on there well. It looks like I pulled up some paint, which, you know what, that's okay. That might be kind of cool. I didn't get my work area washed off good, so it pulled up paint. The tape pulled paint up off my craft mat. So now, just put this one in the water too. And the thing with this Canon paper, with this photo paper, I've discovered that it will start, it doesn't soak in the middle, it soaks in through the edges. So if you can see around how it's darker, that's where the water is soaked in. And I'm going to go ahead and just peel off this first layer of paper. And I'm going to put this back in the water and let that soak. So now this layer here actually is plasticky. It's plastic on one side. So now that that's off, the whole rest of the image will be able to get wet. So I'm going to let that sit. We'll check this one. The paper, it's easier to tell. I can tell on the front. It's kind of splotty that the water's getting soaked through. So I'm just going to leave that for a bit. Go back to this one. Okay, so if you can see, I'm able to grab this next layer of paper, and the front layer of this is also plasticky, so it's kind of like plastic, paper, plastic as far as the layers of this photo paper go. So once you're able to kind of get that edge up, it just peels right off of the packing paper, the packing tape, and all of the ink except that little bit on the corner. And once again, I don't mind that things aren't perfect. I think it adds to it, so I'm okay with that. But here is the image now printed onto this piece of tape. So then what I do is take I've got a clean towel here, and I just lay it inside because I don't want to, of course, put a wet piece of tape in my journal, and I'm too impatient to just let it air dry. So I just try to get it nice and dry, and that's it. And it's got definite bubbles on there from where I didn't get it smooth. There you go, you can see. That is from where I did not get it pushed down good. I didn't get it burnished good because I didn't lay the photo on there good. But I still think this is going to look really neat. And you know, if I don't like it, then I'll just print off another one and I'll make sure that I do a better job laying the photo on. But I think it might kind of add to it a little bit. So let's see the paper one. It's been sitting here. I'm just going to turn it over, and the paper's totally soaked. So I'm just going to pull this off, and this behaves differently, of course, than the photo paper because there's no plastic layers. So just kind of start working things off, working the paper off. And then what I like to do is just gently rub my thumb on it until you've worked all the paper off. And this can take a little while. And you don't want to rub too rough, or you could pull the ink from the front, from the tape. And you can feel it with your finger. You can feel the paper on there that needs to be rubbed off. There have been times when I've done this when I didn't rub all the paper off, just because I kind of liked how it wasn't. It was just kind of thicker. The image was maybe thicker in areas and more clear in the other. If that makes any sense at all. But it definitely, it's not transparent. You cannot see through it. It is not transparent like the effect that you can get with the Canon Selphy paper. Okay, I think I got most of that off. I could probably still rub it a bit. I wouldn't recommend rubbing it with a towel or anything, because you could definitely maybe hurt the image on the front. I'm going to put this on the counter and see if maybe I can rub off some more, because I feel like there's still quite a bit on there. And it kind of helps if you get some of the paper balled up under your finger a little bit, and while you rub, it just kind of helps it take off the paper itself. Gives it a little bit of something to grab onto and pull off what is on the tape. Okay, I'm going to sit this back in the water. I think that's probably all that's going to come off. Yeah, I think that is, because I can see where in places the image is getting, I'm rubbing through to taking the image off. So I'm going to stop with that part, put it back on my, actually I kind of like those areas where I rubbed it off. Looks a little distressed. Get rid of this water so I don't accidentally spill it on something. Okay, so here's the image with the, I would say a magazine image, but this was actually from a calendar page. And if I hold it this way, you can see where I rubbed it a little hard, and it did rub off some of the ink from the tape, but I think that's actually really cool. So here's a magazine image, and then here's on the Canon. So I think if I had an image like this that I printed out on my Selphy, I think this would be a whole lot more transparent, this background part. Actually, all of it would be. But I really, 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 really love, I love this. So this is what we're going to use, and I'm sure, well, I'm saving this, of course, and it'll go in my new journal as soon as I start my new journal here. Maybe today, maybe later today, I'll start the next one. So I just want to make sure I get all my water wiped off. And find my book. And this is a field notes. I've really enjoyed working in this size. The pages are a whole lot smaller than what I'm used to, and I haven't felt confined at all with working on such a small space. It's actually been a bit more freeing, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me that it would be, since this is like a quarter of the size of a page that I'm used to. But I think since I went into this wanting it to be simple, and trying to use white space and things like that, I've just really enjoyed working in this size. And I picked these up locally at a local shop. They come in packs of 3. When you buy them, I think they're about $13. And this is the Lunacy series. It has here are the other 2 that go with it. And these are grid. They're usually different. They have grid sometimes, dot grid sometimes, they have regular grid sometimes, they have lined, they have blank. They just kind of rotate on the different papers that are inside. But these are awesome. I'm really, really enjoying working in this. So let's see, I wanted to do this page back here. Like I said, I've got 3 pages. 3 pages left, and I think my idea is going to work because obviously you can see right through this. So, since I'm going to be doing this side, I like, whenever I have images, I like for what's on this page, for it to cause your eye to go from this side in and from this side in. So I don't like having, like here, I would not put the image this way because for me that directs my eye out of the journal, and I want my eye to be directed into the journal. So I'm going to do it this way. I don't know if that makes any sense to you at all, but for my eye aesthetically it looks better facing this way than it does facing outwards. But you know, I might go ahead and do it on this side because the image is actually in this direction. Can't really tell that it's upside down, but I think I'm still just going to put it here. So the part that the image is on is not sticky because now the ink part is stuck onto the tape. But this part up here is still sticky, so I've been trying to use that to my advantage. I'm going to cut off this bottom a little bit because it's going to be, I don't want obviously all that hanging off. And I have not been careful. Yes, you can see my fingerprints on there. You know, if you don't like that, if you don't want your fingerprints on there, then of course try to not touch it where it's sticky, or just cut it off. But I don't mind my fingerprints being on there. I'm going to cut this off a little bit more across the bottom. I don't want a lot of space between the edge and my image. And I'm just going to cut this off. You know, I think I might tear this. I'm trying to do this and keep it in the screen. Alright, I'm just going to tear this across the top. So I just clipped the tape a little bit. So that, no, I didn't. I kind of like having an uneven edge across the top. But you have to clip it to get it to tear. And let's find my words. I'm just going to keep these together. Usually I cut them apart, but I kind of like how they're all stuck together in one image. Get my glue. And through all of this journal, the only adhesives that I've been using, the main adhesive that I've been using is my Tombow. And I've been going through so much of this. I went ahead and put it on delivery with Amazon. So every month I get a package of this, which actually has been saving me a lot of money. If you have Prime, you get free shipping, and it's a lot less than if you buy these in the store. And then I don't have to worry about it because I know that every month I've got a pack of 3 of these coming in the mail. So it's a subscription. So I've got my Tombow, and then I use the Elmer's Extreme. I get this at Target. I think it might come in a 3-pack. It's been a while since I've bought it, but I really like this, the Extreme. I've had no problems with things coming unglued, things like that. I only use this if I'm gluing something on top of something else. I have not been using it to glue any paper onto this paper because I have not wanted my pages to be wrinkly, and I didn't know if this glue would be, it has, you know, enough water in it that sometimes if you get too much, it will make your paper wrinkle up a little bit. And I wanted these to stay nice and smooth. So I have not been using the glue stick to glue most of the images down. I've just been using my Tombow. Except in a couple cases, I've used the glue stick. Here I use the glue stick to glue down this piece of deli paper onto the photo. This right here, I use a glue stick. This is a tea bag that I typed the phrase on, and then I did use the glue stick to glue that down, which I was careful, and these pages are actually, they're good and they're pretty sturdy. So, you know, it's just me being silly. I'm sure that it would be fine if you used a glue stick to glue the bigger images down. It's just a lot handier for me to use this. But I'm going to use the glue stick to glue my words onto my tape. And I like keeping a piece of deli paper close by to use for when I'm gluing, so I don't have to worry about getting glue on my table anywhere. And let's see, decided that it goes this way. And you know, I kind of think I like it being a bit under the blue clouds and a bit outside of the blue clouds. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay. And that's another thing with this journal. Whenever I've had any idea, even no matter how silly it seemed, I've tried to do it. I haven't tried to question that, you know, and think, oh, there's no way that's going to work, or what if I try it and it doesn't work, or what if I try it and it just, you know, it's awful. I've just tried to honor all of those thoughts that have come to my mind. And so far, I've really like, you know, what I've done, you know, like typing on a tea bag. It's like, why would I want to try even try to type on it? And it's like, okay, well, if it doesn't work, then I'll throw it away. And, you know, it worked, so I didn't throw it away. And Or, you know, like here I just wove together I had printed out all the words to how I was feeling, and you know, in my brain I was so scattered with all these emotions, and good and bad and happy and sad and excited and afraid, and this, you know, I just wove them together because that's how it felt in my head at the time. So or even, you know, just stitching on the sun rays on the sun. They were all just kind of ideas that popped in my head, and you know, I was like, okay, I'll try it. So you know, don't ignore those. Those are you want to have things like that coming to your mind, and they're coming to your mind for a reason. So definitely try them and see how, you know, see if it works. So I'm just gonna glue this down, and on the top is sticky already from the tape. The bottom, I pretty much kind of cut off most of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and, believe it or not, since I just talked so much about not using my glue stick, I'm gonna use my glue stick, and I'm gonna put a little bit behind the words here. I'm not really worried about the top coming undone, coming unstuck. Because I'm gonna go ahead and take my little scraper here again and just kind of burnish that down to make sure that it is nice and stuck. And you know, I think that's it. I'm not going to do anything else with this. I'm just going to put the date on it. That's the other thing that I've been trying to do. I'm really bad about not dating my pages, but I have been dating all of these. I started on July 1st. So this is all the pages that I've done in here since July 1st. So today, today's the 18th. All right. And you know, I'll go ahead and lay this one across the paper just so you can see the difference. This one is opaque. I cannot see the dot grid through it. I can't even, the only place that I can see a little bit of it is on the areas where I had rubbed off the ink from. I'm going to get that stuck on there and then I'll be in trouble. It might end up in my journal whether I'm ready for it to or not. And you know, if it came on there crooked, then I would work with it. But so yeah, so this is it's opaque. I can't see anything through it at all except in the areas that I have rubbed off the ink. But with the Canon, you're able to get these really neat, transparent images that you can see through them. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for everything, and for being here, and for supporting me, and for watching my videos. I am trying to hopefully get back on track with everything and start sharing more. Like I said, as soon as I finish this, I will do the flip of the second half. I do have a video that I posted a week or so ago that is a flip of the first half. So very soon I'll be doing a flip of the second half, and then I plan on doing a talk through video where I just go through each of the pages and then just talk a little bit about what I did. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, be sure to click the little bell button that is there on the YouTube page underneath where you're seeing all of this. If you click on that, you will automatically be sent an email anytime that I share a new video. So thank you again for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you try it. I hope that it inspires you to try things that you hadn't how am I going to word this? I hope that this, if anything at all that I ever do, I hope that I inspire you to play and to experiment and to not be afraid to try new things and to try those little whispers that come in your brain that say, hey, you know, let's see if we can put this piece of book text behind a photo transfer on duct tape and see if it shows through. If I hadn't have listened to that, then I wouldn't have this. So, and if I hadn't listened to that, I wouldn't have almost all of these pages that are in this journal. And this journal is very, very, very special to me. So thank you again so much, and take care. And I hope that you have a wonderful and a very blessed day. Bye-bye.